All right, hello everybody. Today, what I wanted to present to you guys is a chair workout just for legs. So more of like a beginning leg workout. We're gonna do some stuff seated, some stuff standing. And then I also wanted to work in balance because I realized that with people being more inactive and not being able to get to the gym and work with some of the different equipment that we have at the gym, our balance might not be getting any better and it might be getting worse. So this is more of a beginner workout. Make sure that when we're doing the balance exercises that you're not by yourself doing them, that there's somebody home with you when you're practicing your balance exercises. And we'll talk about safety, always making sure that you're in a safe spot to do that, that you're not just doing it out in the middle of a room, that you have something to hold on to, that you have the wall or a chair, something that's stable. And trying to use a stable chair. The folding chair is going to be great for our seated exercises, but when we go to do standing exercises, working balance, a heavier chair, something that's not going to wobble on you is going to be great. And again, trying to do those when there's somebody around that can help you in case you do fall. So we want to be really careful with that. We're just going to start. Normally what I want you to do is warm up a little bit. So go for a little walk, maybe do one of my other videos, even if it's just part of it, but just even marching. And I have a chair workout that takes you and starts us off with some seated cardio exercises. So doing that first would be a really good warm up if you're not already warm. So we're going to start with a little bit of an extension, so like a leg extension for quadriceps. So sitting up tall in the chair, making sure you're up on those sits bones, using your core to pull in here. And we're just going to start with our leg extension. So bringing the leg up as straight as you can go and then bringing it back. And seeing if you can pull it back, like on this chair, I have a little bar at the bottom that I can actually feel my heel touching it, so I'm getting that good flexion. So we're gonna do, let's do 10 more. And if you need to, you can set it on the ground. So you can set your foot on the ground if you need to. Good. And just working through a range that's gonna be appropriate for you. So if you have knee issues, you might not go all the way straight, or you might not be able to pull that heel back, and that's okay. Just working with what you have. I already feel my leg burning right here, so we're gonna go ahead and switch to the other side. And then taking it up and back. And make note if you have issues on one side with your knee, maybe you have one leg that's stronger than the other, you might be able to do more on one side. Also making sure your toes facing straight up, that you're not doing a turnout. You're trying to keep your hip, knee, ankle, and toes all in alignment. Still sitting up tall. Notice that this really engages your core quite a bit. Now, if you're on the taller side and this is hard, you have longer legs, putting something underneath you to lift you up. So some pillows or a folded blanket, something that's pretty sturdy to give you a little bit more height so you don't feel so squished up. And then we're gonna stop and we're gonna go to the other side. So now this time we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna hold for 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. 3, 2, 1, and down. Now, what is helpful with this, if you have arthritis in your knees and the actual movement of straightening and bending your knee is painful, then just holding this. So you can even just hold this up for as long as you can, maybe not going all the way straight, that might not feel great, but going to a point that you feel comfortable with and then holding it, and that's gonna help. We're gonna do 2 more, so I think we're doing 10 on each side of the 3, 2, 1, and down, 3, 2, 1, and down. Let's take it to the other side. Hold it up, 3, 2, 1, and down. And again, you can be pulling that leg all the way back, trying to get that heel to tap and get a little hamstring in there if that feels appropriate for you. Still sitting up tall and making sure when you're holding that you're breathing. It's pretty tempting to want to hold your breath when you're holding that contraction of the muscle, but try and breathe through it. Good. 3 more. 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Good. So you should be feeling the tops of the legs quite a bit. So what we're gonna do this time is we're gonna work out and in, just like this, trying to get that hip to move as much as possible. But I'm gonna give a variation, so 2 different options here. So you can just work this way, hovering the sole of your foot off the ground. You can actively stomp and pick up and sit down if that's easier for you. So that would be level 1, stomping out and in. Level 2, keeping it hovered and controlled off the ground. Level 3, extending that leg. It could maybe be just part way, or it can be completely straight, sitting up tall, and we're taking it out. So let's try that. For 10, 9, 8, sitting up tall. Since we just did those quads, you're probably really feeling those quads if you have that leg extended. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Oh yeah. Sitting up tall, pick your level, your stomps, or your hovers, or your partially extended side leg raises, or all the way straight. Again, sitting up tall, and try not to move your upper body around. So your core is working to stabilize as that leg comes out to the side. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, and bring it down. So we're gonna rest here a little bit, those quads. I'm already warming up. It's a nice sunny day out today. So we're gonna do some calf exercises, and we're gonna be seated here, feet right underneath your knees in alignment with your hips. You can lean forward a little bit, or you can put books on your knees, some heavy books to add some pressure. And we're bringing the heels up and then bringing them back down. Up and down, and up and down. So put some pressure into it. Up and down for 8, 7, good, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now toes up, lift and lift. So now we're working those shins. Let's do 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 1. Now back to heels, heel lifts. So I want you to have them up and then drop one and then drop the other. So working that opposition and side. Now watch on this when you're up that your ankles don't want to stickle out to the side like this. Try and keep them straight on. You can be looking down, check and make sure in the right spot. Good. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to do the same thing for shins. So toes are up, both of them up, and drop one, raise it. Drop one, drop, and drop. Good. And try and just tap it. Try not to let it rest on the floor. It's like hot coals. You tap, you pull it right back up. Let's do 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Awesome. So you should be pretty warmed up here. We're going to move to some standing exercises and then start talking about balance a little bit. So come on up, have that stable chair. We're going to stand to one side and we're going to work that outer thigh. So when you're standing, your inside leg is going to be your stabilizing one. You want to try and stay lifted up out of that hip, not dropping into it. So one leg's moving and strengthening, one leg is stabilizing and strengthening also. So working on that stability of the joint. So we're going to bring the leg out and in, and out and in. Feel free, if you're pretty good with balance, to take that hand away and work balance here. If balance is a big challenge for you, I want you just to keep more of your balance exercises where you're not moving. You're working balance without moving. The next level is doing something like this where you're working balance through a movement. Let's do 2 more. Good. So you probably felt this leg get tired. That's good. And come to the other side. And let's hit the other side. So out and in. And try not to lean down into the chair. Try and just have some fingertips there to give you that sense of where you should be in space. And then knee facing straight forward towards me. Good. Let's do 6 more. My ability to count has gone out the window. I'm not counting as much as I usually do anymore, so 2 and 1. Good. Okay, so now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see we're going to work glutes. So you're going to pick a leg. Let's go back to maybe the right leg, and you're going to come straight back and back, not arching your back at all. So don't go too far with it. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. Back. Still up tall, chest is lifted, you're not leaning forward, you're not looking down to the chair. Try and keep your gaze up. That's what happens a lot of times is as we get weaker and we're more unsure of our footing, we start to look down and then everything starts to round forward. So use this time to really stand up tall. Let's do 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to give it a little rest here for our glutes, and we're going to work calf raises. So your feet are hip distance apart, and this is a balance exercise. I'm going to face sideways so you can make sure and see that, like, I'm not pushing my bum back, I'm not pushing forward. I'm trying to come straight up as if I had a string attached to my head and I was being lifted up. So if you're taller, have a chair that has a higher back, or find something that you can hold on to that's higher and sturdy. So shoulders rolled back, you're lifting up and then coming back down. Same thing like when we were in the chair, not letting your ankles roll out to the side. And I'm trying to go straight up versus too much forward, or doing this to counterbalance. And again, if you are wanting to challenge that balance and you feel okay with it, you can bring those hands away or be close. So remember, a good grasp on the chair is going to just really, you're not going to have to worry too much on balance. Light fingertips on the chair is a little more of a challenge. 1 or 2 fingertips, even more of a challenge. And then maybe just hovering those hands off the ground. You should be feeling your calves by now. Now, we're going to do toe lifts. So this time I want you to actually start holding onto the chair because there is a tendency to want to fall backwards. So have that chair there, and then as you get more comfortable with it, you can choose to lift those hands away a little bit more. So lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lift. Good. Now, if you want to work balance, go for it. I'll tell you, it's hard. You want to push your bum back to help you counterbalance. 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to do 1 of each. Lift and shift back. And lift and back. So heel raise, toe raise. Heel raise, toe raise. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So right here, we're going to come back to hamstrings. So we're going to take that right leg and we're bending the knee, getting that heel as close to the glute as you can. And we're keeping the thighs side by side. Let's do 9 more right here. And if you can hold it for that little split second at the top, you're going to really feel that hamstring engage. 5, 4, 3, 2, and switch. Curl it up. So again, legs stay side by side versus this and having the knee come forward. We want to try and keep it back. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, we're going to come back to the side and working balance here. So we're going to pick the knee up. Now, level 1, hand is here. You can also have your toe tapped into the ground. So if your leg really struggles with stabilizing your whole body weight just in one side, just keep the toe tapped in and just try and load, like whether it's 70% of your weight here, 60% of your weight, whatever you can do, and just work that balance. So finding that focal point out in front, something that's not moving and something that's up more at eye level so you're not looking down. Level 2, pick that whole leg up and you're not moving. You're not moving the leg, abdominals are pulled in tight and you're working balance. Level 3, I want you to heel into the ground, pull back up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's hard. That is a hard one. So don't feel like, I even had to tap my hand in a couple times to the chair just to remind myself of where I should be in space. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to keep my hand on the chair. That's okay. If you're wobbly, that's all we want, is that we're getting somewhere with this where you're feeling that you're not just like, okay, this is easy, but you feel a little bit of instability, but you still feel secure. So pick your level here. It might be different. If you've had, let's say, knee replacement or hip replacement on one side, your nerves might not be firing and sending those messages like it normally would if you hadn't had surgery. So pick your level, let it be different if it needs to be different. So either toe in, holding the knee up, or moving. Let's do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this next balance exercise, and don't feel like you have to do all of them. If you get tired, spread them out. We're gonna keep our hands on the chair, and you're gonna bring your feet together, and you're gonna close your eyes. And I want you just to notice what you're feeling, that suddenly you're kind of shifting side to side. Now, if you feel pretty confident just going to fingertips or just going to one fingertip, go to one fingertip. And then if you feel confident with just completely bringing those hands away and bringing your arms to the side or just hovering them over the chair, but notice the difference that makes. Good. So play around with that. Another good spot, if you don't have a chair, that's a good spot, is a corner. So some of the best places to do some of these exercises, if you're wanting a little bit more security, is to go to a corner and having your hands here, because it's a very easy to, if you feel like you're losing it, just suddenly push your hands out and find that balance again. So another one we're gonna do, and we'll just do a few of them because you're probably tiring out a little bit, is this is a little harder balance exercise. You're gonna tap front, tap side, tap back. Front, side, back. Again, chair if you need it. And let's do one more. And now we're gonna reverse. Tap back, tap side, tap front. You can go side and just swing it around like this if you want, or you can actively pick it up and play around with that. Make it different each time. So just hitting 3 spots. Good, and let's try the other side. So going spot 1, 2, 3. Find your focal point, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now change directions. Go back, side, front, back, side, front, back, side. One more, back, side, front. Good. So one of my other absolute favorite exercises to do, but it's actually really hard, and again, doing it like down a hallway, you want to have something you can hold on to the whole time, and I'm just going to demonstrate right here, even though it's not the best spot, is your heel to toe walks. And if you haven't done these, start by holding onto the wall, put one heel in front of the toe, other toe, and then switch. And switch. And really look down. Like I have wood plank floors here, and I am lining my feet up with those wood plank floors. Because you might think that you're actually going heel to toe and you're not. You're over crossing or you're still wide. So look down, see where you're at, and over time, as you start to become more confident in it, you can start to look forward, but take your time. The biggest thing is people rush this. Don't rush it. Take your time on it. So going up and down a hallway that way is great for not only balance, but spatial awareness of where you're putting your feet without looking. So start by looking to make sure you have it right, and then look away, and maybe every once in a while, look down, make sure you're still making that connection. Because a lot of balance issues when we trip and fall is that we aren't aware of what our feet are doing. We're not picking up our feet, which is often just for lack of awareness or lack of strength. So the last thing I want to show you, and this is our big challenge, one of the best leg strengthening exercises you can do, is a sit to stand. So we do this a lot. I do this with a lot of my clients at the gym, and you can still do it here. If you have really weak legs and you struggle with this, you might want a chair that has arms, because when you come down, you can use the arms to help press you and come up. And maybe you're just going part way down and part way up, and you're not sitting all the way down, or just hovering and coming up if you can't do a full one, or holding on to something else like another sturdy chair and letting that help support you. Or you might be just starting down here and having that sense of nose over toes and then back down. If you can't make that full extension, if it hurts your knee, don't do it. But get that sensation of coming forward. So if I turn sideways, you'll see nose over toes, whether you're not coming all the way up or you are coming all the way up. You're coming forward, feet hip distance apart, nose over toes, and then come back down. And you might not lose contact with that seat. You might still have your hamstrings touching the seat a little bit. That's okay. And then as you get stronger, up. And then work the control back down too, not just letting yourself plop back down to the chair. So doing these every day, making sure you're tracking those knees in alignment with your feet. So check that out too. It's pretty tempting, especially for women, to do this and come up. If you need to, put something between there, whether it's like a yoga block or what else is that size? Like something light. You don't want something heavy, but something light, even like a box of pasta or something that you can put between your knees to discourage those knees from coming in. So anyway, hopefully that helped you guys keep those legs strong and working on balance. So this is a good one to do balance you can work on every day. If this was a big challenge for you though, maybe the leg work, do it like every other day. So shoot me any messages if you have any questions. All right, you guys, thanks.